Hi everybody, I'm Joey and welcome to Joey on Wheels. I'm not really sure where this vlog is going. I know that I've now been back at work for 2 full weeks and I'm basically feeling like maybe along the way I'm finding some kind of routine that works for me. For those who don't know, I am an indie author. I have 24 books published, and I had sepsis in October 2025, which almost killed me and then left me with a right hand that I can barely use. So I've been adapting and trying to do things. For 8 months. I didn't work at all, and I only went back to work on June 1st. So now we're looking at like 2 weeks of work. I've taken the weekends off, which is not something that I used to do, but I know that right now I need to ease gently back into work. So for those 2 weeks, I've been doing my videos on a Monday or maybe a Tuesday. I think I did it once then. I've been revising 2 projects rather than the full load that I was doing before. And the whole basis of this channel is basically to focus more on the disability angle, as well as maybe sprinkle in here and there bits and pieces about my author life. So today is June 15th. Like I said, I've been back at work for 2 weeks. And the routine that I had before, which if you don't know, I'm going to give you a brief overview. The routine I had before was that I naturally woke up between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. and then I'd work downstairs in my office on whatever was on the docket for that day. Sometimes it was revisions, sometimes it was a video. When I was still drafting, sometimes it would be a chapter here and there. It all just worked out so that I had all the things I needed to be done at whatever time they were done. Of course, right now, I'm not drafting yet. I will hopefully go back to drafting at some point. I just don't know when it will be. I would normally, before, juggle 3, 4, sometimes even 5 projects. And right now, I'm focusing on 2 because the last thing I want to do is set myself up to fail and do way too much and end up in a place where I just don't feel good and I'm not able to keep up with what I need to be doing. This morning, Monday, I recorded a video, I edited it, I captioned it. This was a video for my AuthorTube channel, which is always linked below just in case you're interested. I decided to make this a separate channel because a lot of what I'm talking about, while it has some link to my author life, it's mostly going to be disability focused, and it felt like putting that on AuthorTube was going to be weird because my subscribers on my AuthorTube channel, they subscribe to see author life stuff, not disabled life stuff. Like the two are connected in the fact that there's going to be some overlap with viewers and such like that, but they are, to me at least, distinctly 2 separate things. So I'm hoping that this vlog will be basically outlining how my new routine works. I used to use a paper planner and it's just not something I can do anymore. My right hand is my dominant hand. Just to let you know the situation, these 3 fingers are permanently bent. I have very little movement in them. This finger is somewhat usable depending on the time of day and depending on whatever I've been doing. But it's pretty much my only usable finger on my right hand. My thumb is, better, but you can't generally type with a thumb. So, yeah. I've managed to change my keyboards, change the way I do things, and made it so that I can function with my hand the way it is. And some of that has been trial and error, and some of that has been, just sheer practicing on the keyboards and just making it work. The issue has been that before the sepsis, while already disabled, while already a full-time wheelchair user, I had a lot more independence in the fact that I could get myself up, I could go downstairs, I could get to the kitchen doing a little bit of walking without necessarily needing a walker. As it stands now, I need help with a lot of things. And so because of that, I'm basically having to just make do. I'm having to make it work for me. One thing I've learned is that if I go down when my carer first gets up in the morning, because whereas before the sepsis, she was full-time care at home, for reasons that I'm not going to go into. She now works during the week. So before, it would be a case of I would be the first person up, and then she would get up at her normal time, and then we'd, do things the way they were. But obviously that routine has completely been scrapped because B is working. I am having to get to the point where I'm more able to do things on my own. And that took a lot of time. It took a lot of recovery, which, is to be expected. I will say that one of the things I'm liking about this new routine is I'm not feeling as much pressure to do everything at once. Before, when I was able to write and use my planner, I was able to block out times of what I was doing when, but it also meant that I didn't really take weekends off, which is something that people had, told me wasn't right before. But at the time, I was coping, so it didn't really matter. And then I'd have like a block of days off at the end of the month. The issue now is that that's just not sustainable for me where I am right now. Where I am right now, I need to have more downtime, basically. I'm trying to make it work. I'm trying to find a routine that does what I need it to do. And so part of that has been working out whether working in bed when I do a revision works, which I did a lot of last week, or whether I need to, get back into the routine of getting up, getting clothes on, going downstairs, and working at my desk. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter which one I do. I don't think there's nothing wrong with me being able to work, but not really being able to manage getting downstairs and dealing with all of that. I think it's a toss up, really. I guess it's just about what I need that day and what my body is saying. In bed, that's not an issue. But I would like to sort of like get back into a somewhat normal routine, a somewhat normal way of doing things. And that means basically making it so that I come downstairs if I need to and, do stuff like I used to. I know I posted a video last week about disabled grief, and I guess that applies here too, in the fact that my mentality is that I must get back to work and it must be exactly how it was, even if the workload is smaller, just because otherwise, how will I know that I am back to who I was? How will I know that I have survived and risen from the ashes anew? And to be honest, while I'm dealing with some of that mentally other ways, I'm also kind of thinking that's bullshit. I can do my routine however I want to do my routine. There is no law that says I have to do it in the exact same way that I used to. So I don't know whether come November and I send off one of these revision projects that I'm working on right now to the editor, if that means that things will get very weird and busy when I try to add dev edits and line edits, etc., into the month, basically. I'm hoping that because that's not going to be until December at the earliest, I might be able to find a way or at least work up to doing some of that level of work. Right now, my focus is just on doing what I need to do, getting myself a routine that works for me, and just trying to find my way back to what the author life will look like for me from now on. So, yeah, that's all I have to say today. I will try and take you along tomorrow. This week, I'm planning to do more working downstairs than I did last week, which is mostly working downstairs when I had to for like recording and also posting the video on Thursday for my AuthorTube channel because I have to do that downstairs because it's easier than trying to do it on my tablet. So, yeah, I don't know whether that will make it easier for me or whether I will eventually come to the idea that it just depends on how I feel that day. But we'll see. I am still looking for a different way to plan. I know it's going to have to be digital because I don't see my hand suddenly recovering anytime soon. So I need to find something that works for me. But it's also possible that I don't, that I just adapt in a different way because, yeah, sometimes things happen and you just have to roll with them. But I will catch you next time. Hello, it is June 18th, and I know that in the last clip I was like, oh, I'm going to try and do a week where I go downstairs pretty much every day. Yeah, that didn't happen. I woke up on Tuesday and I was like, yep, nope, don't wanna. My body is saying nope, and I'm just gonna work in bed. So I did. And then I woke up on Wednesday, yesterday, and because it was a shower day, I couldn't actually start work until after B had gotten up and we'd done the shower stuff. So I was just like, okay, I will go downstairs after I've showered and such. Didn't happen. I don't know whether it's just my body needed the rest or needed the comfort of my bed. I don't know. I just know that both days I worked in bed. But as you can see, today I am up, I'm in my office. It's kind of a cheat though, because I would have had to come down anyway, because like I said before, Thursdays are my AuthorTube video days, and I need to do that on the computer basically. I haven't found a way that works really well on like the phone or my tablet, and because of that, it's just easier and less hassle for me to just come downstairs, and even if I just switch the computer on to basically post my video, it's better than nothing. So the plan today is at some point to wish my mother a happy birthday, but also to basically get through another set of revisions. I'm doing pretty okay in the fact that I've worked steadily all week. This is the first like week, I think, where I haven't yet taken a day off in the middle. That's a good thing, I think. My routine seems to be fluctuating as these things do. So you sort of like, it's a lot of trial and error. So you will fall into a pattern of doing one thing because it works when you first do it, and then you try and sort of like replicate that one thing, and it doesn't work. So me coming downstairs every day is just, I don't think it's going to work. I don't know whether in the future it will become something that does work, but right now it's not happening. So my plan is to sort of like settle down here. My carer doesn't get up until 6 today, and it's just about 5. So I've got about an hour really before she's up and about, and I probably will be done about 6:30, 7 o'clock when she goes to work, and I can then, curl up and nap if I need to. I have noticed that both Tuesday and Wednesday, pretty much the moment I finished working, I was like, okay, this is where I have a 6-hour nap. So maybe that'll happen today. I don't know. I am feeling slightly more, when I say energized, I don't mean energized in the way that most people will mean energized. I mean energized in the way that I don't feel like death. So yeah, it's a lot of learning. It's a lot of working out what works for you, and it's a lot of switching here, there, and everywhere. I think I've said in another video or another clip, I can't remember, I am still looking for a way that works to plan my time, because obviously if you've never seen me on AuthorTube, you won't know that I am pretty much a very big planner when it comes to everything but my writing, as in literally the act of writing. I don't do lots of outlines. I don't do lots of details here and there. I mostly pants, to be honest, when it comes to the act of drafting. But outside of that particular thing, my life is like organized. I don't like not knowing what is expected of me in the coming days, weeks, etc. And before, I would use a paper planner. It's this one. I still have November penciled in from last year, but for obvious reasons, I can no longer use a paper planner, which sucks. It does mean that I will be trying apps here and there. I have a couple on my phone, I think, that I started looking at, but then kind of like just didn't want to go through it all and stuff like that. Some of that was genuinely just being tired and not wanting to fiddle with this, that, and the other. Some of that was the handing. Some of that was just being a bit sad that my life has changed so drastically that I can't even do the planning the way I used to. So some of it is not wanting to just use my iPad calendar, and some of it is wanting to see maybe there's an app out there that does the same for me as a paper planner did. I just haven't found it yet. So yay. But yeah, the plan today is to revise, and like I said, I will probably have to come downstairs tomorrow because I have another sort of like task ahead of me that is easier to do on the computer. But I might cheat and do that today, because it's not a time intensive task. It's basically downloading something, and downloading it on my computer, it keeps all the data, as in the dates and stuff like that I attach to the images. If I download it on my iPad, it just doesn't name them that. And there's a reason I want the dates on them, on the file name, because then I know what to post when. So yeah, I don't want to fall into that trap of like being like, okay, I'll just post what I know. There is a reason I have done it the way I have. So I might sneakily download those today so that I don't have to theoretically come downstairs tomorrow. But I might want to come downstairs tomorrow anyway. So yeah, my plan today is revisions of one project, and then tomorrow revisions of another, and then I think I'm down to basically 2 days of each is all that's needed before I'm pretty much done with that side of work. I know that I have at least 2 more videos to record. I know I have blog posts to write for next month, and I know I have vlog scripts to write. So I know that there are other work-related things to do. So yeah, I'm hoping that by the end of the month, I will have had all the weekends off, and also some extra days in there, and well, maybe possibly that would be nice. I've already had 2 extra days in there because I had 2 Wednesdays that I just did not work. So yeah, but hopefully I will catch up with you after work. Hello, so I finished my work now. It's about 7:00ish. I can't remember. Kara has gone to work, put it that way. And I'm upstairs in my bedroom again. And I just realized that I've spent a lot of these vlogs kind of recapping information that people who've been watching the other vlogs will also know. So I'm going to try and stop doing that. I think it's because usually when I was doing vlogs while I was off work, I was having to kind of like repeat the information to give updates, but there are not really going to be many updates now. So yeah, I finished work, and I'd just like to say that whatever thing decided that while you were going through a new sort of like disabling event and coming to terms with it, that your other chronic conditions can also join in at any time to give you a flare, because I don't like it. I don't recommend it. I really don't. I am very uncomfortable. And obviously, where I'm limited on what pain meds I can take and when, I'm just like, really? Now you decided to have a fibro flare. Now you decided to have an ME flare. And I'm still coming to terms really what the FND means for me, other than intermittent paralysis of legs and such. I know that some people with FND have seizures. Thankfully, that has not happened to me. I'm hoping it's not the case. Yet that tail is not actually torty. It's mink, which you very rarely see, simply because she normally prefers to only get on my lap when I'm going places, and because I just came up from downstairs in what she calls the magic box, in other words, the through floor lift, I am the most exciting thing in her life right now. See? Say hello, Mink. Yeah, you don't care. Yeah. So I basically am done for the day. I'm going to try and get somewhat comfortable in bed. I might try napping later. I'm not yet at the stage where I'm like dragging fatigue wise. So maybe I'll have a better day today. We can hope. I've been trying this thing where, because obviously pain meds are limited, that they always are, they always will be. I have been trying this thing where I try and not ration, but mix up how many I take depending on the day. So yesterday I took more than my usual amount, and today I'm going to try and stick to my usual amount. But I did notice that when I took more than my usual amount, I don't mean overdosing, I just mean normal, what I would take normally. I was a lot more comfortable. So yeah, and my hand was a lot more comfortable. So I think even though I thought that the gabapentin at the dose it is now was enough, I think actually that maybe I need maybe a little bit more. I don't know. I'm going to see my GP next week because B is off work for the whole week, which means I can go in person and address a number of things. Because I also had my assessment for mental health, the talking therapies. Yeah, they don't offer talking therapy, and I'm basically too complex for what they offer. They did offer to find me sort of like counseling situations and such, but they were very clear that these are not necessarily free. And while some are on a sort of like pay what you can thing, others are not. And so I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to talk to my GP again because I feel like while mental health stuff here in the UK is a postcode lottery, sometimes you end up with a trust that is, or an NHS trust, I mean, that is really, really on the ball and they have everything in the way it should be. And sometimes you don't. And at the moment, I'm in the area that don't. So, yeah. I'm going to try and talk to my GP and see if there are other options. My mum suggested being referred to a different kind of thing, but my GP in the past had kind of said that I wasn't severe enough and the waiting list is exceptionally long. And he also didn't know whether they would even accept me on the waiting list because things weren't as severe as they could be. So, it's annoying. Um, but it's also, I kind of expected it, to be honest. So yeah, sucks. I hate it, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You just have to kind of live with it. But yeah, the rest of my day is going to be spent in bed, maybe watching some YouTube, maybe reading some books. I don't know. I just know that it's going to be hopefully less painful. I don't know. I can't remember if I can risk taking more pain meds if I need them today. It sucks. It sucks that even though I am on good pain meds, I will admit that I am luckier than most. I do have to be careful about how many I take and how often I take them. And yeah, it just sucks. So yeah, I'm gonna sit with Miss Mink for a while, get back into my pajama stuff, and get back in bed and just exist for a time. So yeah, I will catch up with you at some point. Hello, it is June 20th, I think. Yeah, pretty sure on that. That's me again. We're just going through town and just finishing up some life admin stuff. I'm not going to tell you how much I bought for my snack drawer. It was a lot, but it has to last me a while. It's just nice to get out of the house. It's just nice to be out and about, even if like I'm achy because of it. So yeah, I'm going to go home, curl up in bed. We have water meter being installed today, a smart one, so we have to get back by a certain time, and that's obviously implemented how much we were able to do in town. But hopefully, once it's done, we can then get on with the rest of the time. I will catch you later. Hi everybody, it is June 21st, which is Father's Day here in the UK, and so I just realised that I didn't really do a end of vlog clip. So I thought I'd end it here because it's Sunday and I will probably be starting a new vlog tomorrow. I don't actually know at this point. So yeah, I'm hoping that this coming week I'll be more able to find things that work for my routine. I did find a digital planner that I think might work for me, but it's just going to be a lot of like checking and trialing error, but I'll keep you posted on that. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, and all the rest of it. And I usually post on Mondays, but not every week because it depends if I have a vlog to post. But otherwise, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.